Hey!
Hi, again. We're back.
Welcome to part 2 of the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour.
Yes, yes.
And I'm Kaye Lazar again. I don't think we can move this camera, but I don't know if you see this, but they're actually filming where is it? They're filming something around here. Yeah, you see those people on that bridge? That's the movie. That's the movie we were in.
Yeah,
We thought they had enough of us, so we decided to do our own show.
Oh, yeah.
But that what's the name of that show?
It's called
I
the Renaissance.
the Renaissance.
Renaissance, yeah.
So look that up. That's a web series and for free on
Yeah,
probably in a month or so. It'll be the
yeah,
first episode will be on, so you can watch and we're in that
yeah.
and that's why we're dressed in these costumes here.
Yeah, I have a bigger role in the next episode, so
Yeah.
yeah.
In fact, it's been taken so long because of the pandemic to film it. They actually told me that I already filmed my scene. I completely forgot it, and it was like a while back.
Right,
Like I don't know what I was thinking, but I completely forgot.
right.
And we're filming it in Hopewell, Virginia,
Yes.
and that is the river. It's the Appomattox River. There's a beach here. We're at the park here. And
It's
that's
a
why
beautiful river.
yeah,
I love this park.
yeah. I never been
Yeah.
to this park. I mean,
Me
until
neither.
today. And but maybe we'll do more shows here.
Yes, definitely. Yes, yes.
And it's a very windy day, and thus
Yeah,
in fact, I'm wearing my coonskin cap
yeah.
and my Owen Wilson wig. This coonskin, growing up during the
Yeah.
1950s, that was the style, the
Right.
coonskin cap,
Right.
and my parents were too cheap to buy me one,
Right.
so they stapled a squirrel to my head. There's your coonskin cap. Shut up. Now, yeah, we were talking about parents and everything always taking always have. You know what's kind of great about being an adult is you don't have to do things anymore you don't want to do.
I know.
I don't feel like being nice to those neighbors down the street. I don't feel like, when you grow up and you live in like an apartment, you never know your neighbors, which is great.
Yeah.
Good fences make good neighbors.
Yeah.
But I've said this before. My parents used to always drag me to church,
Oh
thinking I would become this
yes. Yes.
pious person.
Yeah.
No, it was a fruitless endeavor on their part.
Yeah.
I just love the fun life
Right.
too much. But you were telling me that you were watching a
Right.
video on YouTube, which we'll probably put in the comments,
Yeah.
about a preacher. Tell me about the preacher.
Yes, I saw this thing on YouTube. I just came across it. I haven't really heard of it until the video just popped up. Okay, and this guy, that I watched the video of was talking about this preacher, and the preacher he went to every single church member. The first church member, he was like, hey, you, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. I'm talking to you. It's all about me.
Yeah,
And then he comes up to this next person,
yeah.
saying, how you're not worth 15 cents. You're not worth 15 cents. So he's
What?
like, where have you been? Where have you been? I was supposed to marry you guys, but you're not worth 15 cents.
You never come to church, and today you're getting married, and now you show up. He was basically saying to them, and he said, and one guy was falling asleep.
Yeah,
The guy may have worked all night and dragged himself to church, or maybe his wife dragged him to church. And
yeah,
he's complaining to the guy. Now, this preacher, you told me about this before I saw it, and then I
yeah,
saw it, and I had a little different take on it, even though it's the same thing we saw.
yeah,
And I got the idea the guy probably didn't drink normally,
yeah,
but they probably, I need a drink before I go out there. And then he lost some inhibitions. He started telling people off. Now, the first rule you always make when you're a preacher or anybody really in some sort of responsibility is you do not lecture the people there who showed up. You
yeah,
should go you should go to where they're not showing up and lecture them there.
I just thought
Preaching to the choir, they call
I
it.
just thought you would have died laughing.
Oh, I
Because
did. I
it's
did.
hilarious.
Well, it's funny to hear this guy.
I feel,
He's
even though I feel bad for the members that were kind of embarrassed by it, because I would have
well,
been embarrassed by it too, but
well,
it's pretty funny that the way he just like came up saying, "Hey you, pay attention, don't go to sleep. It's all about me." Then he comes up to this other guy saying,
get off your phone.
"Where you been? Where you been? I was supposed to marry y'all. Y'all were not 15 cents."
He was talking about people hanging out backstage at where the video
Yeah,
booth
yeah,
is. And he was,
about he said something about the video kingdom or
yeah.
something. Yeah, that was even more funny, I think.
I remember there was a small child in our family, like a
Yeah.
baby, and my mom always made sure everyone goes to church. And then she got mad at Dad for said, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby? Oh, it must be with Dad." And then we found out Dad was in that baby booth because he didn't want to hear the priest anymore. He wasn't getting anything out of it, and the baby wasn't either.
So he's actually with the baby in the nursery.
Yeah. So I always wanted to go there. I thought that was a break from it all. Yeah.
I actually pretty much did the same thing years ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like your dad in a way.
Yeah.
When I was like, I was, my dad used to drag me to church.
Yeah.
My parents used to drag me to church. I just kind of walked around the hallways, hanging out in the nursery.
Yeah.
And the little kids, because I wanted to have fun with them instead of just sitting in the service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was the only. My mom was the only Christian who went to confession and had nothing to confess.
Jesus.
I don't know. I don't do anything wrong.
Yeah, that's funny that thing that dad,
Yeah.
that dad did.
Yeah.
He went to the nursery with the baby.
Yeah. Anything away. Can I get a soda here or a cup of coffee?
So he actually asked for a cup of coffee to send.
No, I just made that up. I don't.
Well, it would be pretty. I wish I would have lived with y'all back then.
Let me tell you something. They probably, a lot of times you go to church and they'll have coffee and donuts when it's over.
Yeah.
You always,
The fellowship hall.
but they always do that after the service. They want people to sit through the whole thing. They never give it to you before. You go, all right, I have my coffee and donut. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I also got the idea. A lot of things about the guy. You never lecture people. You never preach to the choir, as they say. You never complain to the people that are there that actually showed up to put money in there. And he kept on saying that I'll leave this church and go to another church. I'm sure a lot of the people in the audience were saying, "Fine, we'll get a better preacher."
Yeah, but I looked at the news about it. This happened like years ago when that happened. That sermon happened. The guy who actually got embarrassed.
Yeah.
One of the church members that was embarrassed. The one that he was saying that he wasn't worth 15 cents.
Yeah.
That he was going to marry this girl, whatever.
Yeah.
That he felt humiliated. That the preacher was saying something to him.
Yeah.
And then he said he would never ever step foot in that church again.
Well, there you go. He exactly as I predicted. Let me tell you,
I would have done the same thing.
You're gonna love this. A friend of mine got married, and he couldn't understand. Well, actually, it wasn't his problem. It was his wife's problem. His wife's family belonged to this fancy church, but when they went to it was a Catholic church, and when they went to the church, the priest sat them down and said, "Do you how much money do you give us every year?" He goes, "Well, my family gives a few $100s a year." He goes, "Yeah, but that's your family. What do you give?" In fact, I've never even seen you until today. I may have seen you probably the last time I saw you was probably when you were in college, and now you're like 25 years old, and I haven't seen you since. And now you want to get married at this fancy church?
Yeah.
You want to get and he says, "And do you really want to get married?" She goes, "Yes, I do want to get married." I said, "No, I mean," and he actually, I'm not kidding. He gave them a test, like a test. like a true or false or multiple type choice
Yeah,
test.
yeah.
If they were compatible, then they at the end you match up the answers, and they got like a 50%, not
Right.
100% or close to 100%. It was a 50%,
Yeah.
so they barely passed, but they barely passed. And and then of course I knew the couple, and she was complaining to all her friends and her family, saying, "Can you believe the nerve of that priest? Can you believe the nerve of that? It gave me a test to see if I'm compatible with my future husband, and then he didn't even want to marry me in the church because I don't go there."
What?
And then
That's
and then
discrimination right there.
of course all her friends are saying, "Oh, that's terrible, that's terrible." And I held up my hand. That shows you what type of spoil sport I was, and I said, uh, I agree with the priest.
Yeah.
I said, you don't show up there, and then you think he's going to become the ringleader of your circus that you're trying to put
Right.
on.
That's discrimination right there. That's discrimination right there.
And then
Our church never does that.
no, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with them of a different ethnicity or different race or something. It had to do with them not giving to the church.
Yeah.
They weren't they were hardly members of the
Yeah.
church, and now she expects the pre, and then of course she says, you know, the priest has never been married. He doesn't have any children. What does he know about life? I said he sees a lot about life. He knows more about life than you do. What do you know about marriage and life other than watching The Bachelor?
I was wondering
Not everything comes with a rose.
I was wondering what Mom thought of Dad hanging out in the nursery instead of hanging out.
Oh, she didn't like it.
She was like, "Hey, how dare you? What did you do that for?"
Well, I find kind of strange about some people. Some people are like really mean on Sunday
Yeah.
after they've been to church. And sometimes I think they feel that probably by going to church they cleanse their palate, that now it can be mean and rotten again.
Yeah.
And I think to some extent my mom was her worst days were Sundays afternoons. Started yelling at me, do your homework.
Yeah.
Don't you have homework tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because I don't have homework.
Yeah.
It says, are you making A's? No. It goes, well, then you have homework. Go do your homework.
Yeah.
And stop watching the cartoons. Stop watching the cartoons.
Mom was like, "How dare you, Ed? Why did you go to Sunday? Why'd you have to go to the nursery?"
because because
Because I have fun with the baby.
because the baby was crying.
Yeah.
That's what babies do. I don't know what babies are doing in churches anyway, other than being baptized.
Yeah.
And thanks for showing me that video.
Yeah. I
And
just thought you would get a kick out of
oh,
it.
I did,
Yeah.
I did. Anytime a guy in authority takes himself seriously and is brought down to brought, given his comeuppance, then I'm happy to see that. Anyway, I
Yeah.
was we usually talk we've talked a lot about show business today, but I have some CDs you might want to take a look at
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Let me see some good ones.
First one is Johnny Rivers.
Oh, I love Johnny Rivers.
Now, Johnny Rivers,
He did a lot of #1 hits.
who's still around, and I'm not sure. You know, he's one of the few singers that I really like that I haven't seen in person. I keep looking up when he's playing, and he's always playing in like North Dakota or Montana at
Yeah.
the casino or somewhere like so far. I don't know where he lives, but he's still around. And I saw he was once sitting in with I think the Joan Rivers band or something, or the Arsenio Hall band when it was in the day, and that was back in the '90s. I was so excited to see Johnny Rivers. He wasn't even the guest star; he was just there, and he has so many hits like "Secret Agent Man" and he has all those Chuck Berry songs. And
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite songs
Memphis,
growing up,
Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, and this is his greatest hits. Basically, every album is his greatest hits. He
On
has
the
all
North
these
Side of Town.
the yeah. Well, some of these songs are original. I think "Secret Agent Man" and "Dark Side of Town." I
Yeah.
think, but the other ones are songs you would know,
Yeah.
like "Sea Cruise" and of course all those "Baby I Need Your Love" and "Tracks of My
Yeah.
Tears." I mean, these are songs you hear other people sing, but when you hear him singing,
Oh yeah.
he sings them very well.
Yeah.
Johnny Rivers, I know. I don't know his real name, but I think he's Italian.
Yeah.
Johnny Rivers is not his real name. He's Italiano. I think he might be from New Jersey or somewhere. Italiano, yeah. But Johnny Rivers is so good, and in fact, I think a lot of people in the music industry like Johnny Rivers and duet with him in the day when he sang what was the song? Was it Help Me Rhonda?
Oh yeah.
Brian Wilson, who was at that time rarely
Oh
recording,
yeah.
thought enough of Johnny Rivers that he sang a duet with him on Help Me Rhonda. And that, the album, I think Brian Wilson might be credited, but he's it's a Johnny Rivers performance. Yeah, so that's Johnny Rivers. Now, here's a old time performer you might remember,
Yes, he's good too.
Ray Price. Now, Ray Price died a few years ago. Ray Price came to Richmond, and I got to meet him. And this is like maybe his last album, so he's a little older looking in it. But he sings, he sounds great. He has a deep, he's one of the greatest voices, I think, in country music. He had a lot of songs written by Willie Nelson that he made hits, like like "Funny How Time Slips Away," I think was his hit, and "The Nightlife" was his hit. I mean, you think of these songs as Willie Nelson songs, but Willie Nelson kind of wrote them for Ray Price, and then Ray Price had hits, and then years later, when Willie Nelson became famous, he started singing them too. Um, and he sings all the Willie Nelson. He sings "Crazy" and those songs. And anyway, but his biggest hit is "For the Good Times."
Yeah.
And I mean, when I think of Ray Price, that's such a good song. "For the Good Times," written by Kris Kristofferson.
Yeah.
And in fact, my mom really liked the song "For the Good Times" so much that she sent me out to buy the 45. And I was so surprised when I got it home. I said, "Oh, it was written by Kris Kristofferson. You mean the hippie type country singer?" She goes, "Yeah, he wrote it." And he also wrote. And then I got the "Me and Bobby McGee" by Janis Joplin. And I looked at that. Oh, Kris Kristofferson wrote that. I said, "What other song has he written?" And so all I knew was Kris Kristofferson was I saw him on. He was in movies like. He was in like Semi Tough, and he's in. He's in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. He's still around too. And he's in a lot of Sam Peckinpah films like Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, and he plays Billy the Kid, I think. Yeah. And so anyway, so he wrote all these songs, and my mom says, well, you get that if you really want to hear a good album of Kris Kristofferson songs, get the album. We'll get like his greatest hits, and you'll see all those songs on there. Uh, Help Me Make It Through the Night, Me and Bobby McGee, For the Good Times, Sunday Morning Coming Down, which is a hit for Johnny Cash. I mean, and then of course, then you go see, if you can manage to get a chance to see Kris, you will hear him sing all those songs in person. But Ray Price was just so good singing For the Good Times. So it was such a big hit that almost everybody had their own version of For the Good Times. So that's Ray Price. I saw Ray Price and at the Carpenter Center in Richmond, and I got to meet him. And it was weird. He was like, he had one of his band was selling the CDs, and he was just there to sign them and pose for photos, and which was this is somewhere you could find it on the internet. Me and Ray Price. So Ray Price I as an actor, you might see Ray Price in the movie Honky Tonk Man. He has as he doesn't really act, but he has a small part in that movie, a Clint Eastwood movie about a country singer in the 1930s, based on Jimmy Rogers. And you see Ray Price in that movie as an actor. I'm not sure he sings in the movie. Clint sings like about 10 songs, but Ray Price, the really good singer, doesn't sing at all. At the end of the movie, if I remember right, the character that Clint plays is dying of tuberculosis, and he can't finish the song, and he's coughing and wheezing. And then one of the guys in this band finishes the song, and it's a very touching moment, and it's played by Marty Robbins of El Paso fame. What was weird was that movie was made. I mean, it came out like a year and a half after Marty Robbins died. So you see the guy dying, but then the living Marty Robbins filling in for him, but in real life, watching him on screen, it was kind of sad seeing Marty Robbins,
Yeah.
the dead Marty Robbins in that movie. So check out Honky Tonk Man, and Ray Price has a
All
part in
right.
that. Clint Eastwood
Cool.
written and not written, but directed and starring Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is what I really want to show you.
Oh, she was good.
Shelby Lynn is
She's
still
still
around.
around, I think.
She's
Yeah.
still around.
Yeah.
Still.
I haven't heard from her in years though, but
Yeah. I've seen her twice, and all by accident.
mm,
I didn't even mean to see her. Let me tell you about Shelby Lynn. Shelby Lynn was this singer, came out of Nashville, and she just had this wonderful voice, really soulful voice. She looked like a teenager, but she was this girl. And then you didn't see her for maybe 2 years, and then all of a sudden she comes back. She doesn't even look the same. Different hairstyle,
yeah.
different way of singing, and then she becomes a big hit as a pop singer, and has I think the Grammy-winning album that year.
Yeah.
It's called I Am Shelby Lynn. It sounded like a debut album when actually she had already recorded maybe 7 albums before that,
Yeah.
country albums. I think she was with Epic Records
Yeah.
or someone, and they were just giving her all these songs to sing. This happens a lot in country music. They don't let the people pick their songs; they pick them for them, especially if they're starting out,
Yeah.
and because they kind of know if it's going to be a hit or not, and they're usually right. So they paired Shelby with these songs, and they were good songs, but
Right.
she still didn't really make it in a big way or make it to her liking. And then I think she switched labels and got to do what she liked, and then she was very good. And then she's had a few really good albums since. She's sort of famous. Two things that are famous about. I'll tell you the second one in a moment. But one of the things was I was buying all this stuff on eBay. All these when eBay first came out, it was like this giant yard sale, and I was trying to buy everything I couldn't get as a kid, every toy, every CD, every LP, every VHS tape, every uh, movie I'd never seen. I wanted to buy the bootleg for it because there was a place for it on every comic book, every book, everything I ever wanted. I could get on eBay, and I spent like $2,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but the crazy thing was it was like $10 at a time.
Yeah.
$5, $10 at a time, and I was buying all this stuff on eBay. And then when I got to 2,000, then they said you're going to put it on PayPal after this. I said, oh, okay. So what happened was, I there was a really good album she made, Shelby Lynn, which really was the last thing I bought in this eBay thing. And the reason why it was the last thing I bought it was Shelby Lynn sings the hits of Dusty or tribute to Dusty Springfield. And it's like 10 songs of Dusty Springfield. The Look of Love is on there, and I Only Want to Be with You, and the Son of a Preacher Man. All those Dusty Springfield songs are on there.
Right.
And then when I put it with my CD collection, I realized I had already bought the thing. It is the only time ever that I bought a CD a second time, not even remembering I had the first one. And I told that to somebody. He says, "Can I have the other one?" I said, "Yeah, you can have the other one. Yeah, for your birthday." And so he said, "That was a good album. If you're going to pick an album to buy twice, buy that one. The Shelby Lynn sings Dusty Springfield." Now, the other thing was I saw Dusty. This is what I want to tell you. Not Dusty. Shelby Lynn. I saw at. I went to see Willie Nelson, and I got to meet Willie Nelson. His opening act was Shelby Lynn. The first time I ever saw Shelby Lynn. Then every time I saw him on some show, Letterman or Carson or something, Shelby Lynn would come on and sing with him a duet, whatever he was singing. And he actually sang a couple of duets with her at the show I saw. So that was great. And then I thought, oh, she's a pretty good singer.
Yeah.
And then the second time I saw her, well, she was basically doing the same type of show with Randy Travis, only not as chummy with Randy Travis.
Yeah.
She was at the Coliseum, and she sang her songs, and I don't think she really had any hit records at that point in either time.
Yeah.
And then she sang, and then the Randy Travis came out and sang all of his hits, but I don't remember her coming out.
Yeah.
Now the thing was between the shows, she says, "I'm going to be at the lobby in the Coliseum to sign autographs if you want to, or buy my album, and I'll say hello. So I met her. Now, in those days, every time I went to a show, I wore a tuxedo. And she was wearing this. She looked like a teenager. She was probably in her late 20s, and she was wearing a like a blue dress, like what a bridesmaid would wear. And
Yeah.
I'm wearing a tuxedo. And so I was like, "Can we pose for a photo?" She goes, "Yeah." So we posed for a photo. It's a very nice photo. I'm trying to find it, and I'll put it up on if I can find it. I still haven't found it. It's one of, and we look like we're at prom. My prom picture. I didn't go to the prom, but this was the closest thing to a prom picture I had with Shelby Lynn.
Yeah.
Shelby Lynn had a very, I mean, it came out after her second wave of success. It came out that her father murdered her mother,
Wow.
and you wouldn't know that, from you don't know this, you don't know anything about anybody, and then
Yeah.
you find out something dastardly like that happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, can you imagine that happened
Yeah.
in your life, in anybody's life? I know fathers and mothers that are mean to their spouses or mean to their kids, but I mean, murder is terrible.
Mhm.
This is what happened with Shelby Lynn. So this is a album. I think it's Epic Recordings. So this is just her stuff she recorded for Epic, but
Yeah.
Epic Records, which is Columbia Records,
Yeah.
which is no big deal. The most
I didn't
most
know
boring.
Epic Columbia.
They're the same.
Mm.
Their Epic was also was had I think Michael Jackson was on Epic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all Columbia.
Yeah.
Columbia. I've given the speech before. Columbia Records
Right.
is the most tried and true kind of dull. They don't usually go out on a limb, so they
Yeah.
always pick. I think I mentioned that the label everybody should be on is Capitol Records
Yeah.
because that's the only one created. That's the only record label created by artists that are still around. And Johnny Mercer created Capitol
Yeah.
Records.
Of course.
That's why the best years of Frank
Nat King
Sinatra,
Cole made
Nat King Cole, got the Capitol Records building. You have
right.
the Beatles were on there, the Beach
Yes.
Boys were on
Beach
there.
Boys.
They're the friendliest, and you could all thank the great Johnny Mercer
Yes.
and
Bonnie
his
Raitt. Bonnie
yeah.
Raitt was in Capitol.
But accentuate the positive.
Yeah.
Johnny Mercer gave us.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're in March.
Yes.
So the weather. I really love March
Me too.
because March it gets a little
Spring.
warm. It comes in like a lion.
Yeah.
Sometimes it marches out like a lion too. But
My birthday's 2 months away.
hallelujah.
Yay.
We'll
We're gonna celebrate
we're
it.
gonna have a parade. We're going to give the Lord Mayor's going to give you the key to the city on your birthday. But you know what I really like about March? It's the month where where they change the time, the clocks.
Yeah.
It's daylight savings time once again. We talk about daylight savings time like we hardly have it, but we have it 8 months out of the 12-month year. And for those months, November and December, you're usually too busy
Yeah.
going to parties and eating and buying presents and eating dinners and everything and wearing stockings and
Yeah.
turkey and dressing and everything
Yeah.
that you forget that the time is that the day is over at 5 or 5:30. But then, oh, look at you. But then January and February comes, and those are dismal months. So we only have daylight. We only have the short days for 2 months, really, that we notice.
Yeah.
That's why I try to go on vacation during those times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like my
Yeah.
like my peepers.
Yeah.
Or actually, enough of this. You look great. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to. This is not how. Guess what? This is not how I really live. All right. Oh
That's the
wow,
real you.
I look better with hair. Yeah, I got hat head. The rest of me I can't change. Mary Elizabeth, thank you for having me on your show after so long. Your
Absolutely.
comeback special.
Yes.
Elvis had his.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. May God bless you.
This was the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour.
Variety Hour! Woo!